Registration is now open for both of my spring camps. I run Tejas Sports Academy, a sports academy right here in Sylvan Lake. Currently, I have registration open for my spring basketball and spring football camps. You can go to Tejas Sports Academy on Facebook for all details, including registration link, costs, dates, times, etc. Tejas Sports Academy on Facebook.
Most of us hear a game plan for football, but won't financially plan out our lives. 1 in 4 Canadians are unable to cover an unexpected expense of over $500. This is due to Canadians currently having concerns over things like debt, cash flow concerns, retirement concerns, and possibly even job security. And for some of the young Canadians out there, they always wonder on what does it take or what does it look like to get started. My name is Omari Fraser, and I've been in the financial services industry for just shy of 10 years. I'm fortunate to be in a spot to where I'm able to help educate fellow Canadians on what you can do to move forward and get yourself in a spot that's going to take you to your financial goals. Feel free to reach out to me at 403-467-2306 or reach out to me on Instagram to get the conversation started and taking a look at what a financial plan looks like for you. Take care. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to Alberta Football Uncensored. I am your host, Tejas Johannesson. With me, as always, my co-host, Omari Fraser.
Where's the mute button, buddy?
Omari, we had an exhibition game against the Gators. The Bucks did this past weekend. It was very interesting. The Gators brought a lot of dudes. I would say 40-plus guys showed up to that game, and most of their starters. I don't think I saw Alex Issick, who's a pretty good corner, or at least he used to be a pretty good corner. He hasn't played in a while, but they brought Ben Nadiuk, they brought Jordan Heather, they brought Xavier Lawrence, they brought their entire O-line, and I believe most of their starting defense. So we got out there and played kind of a controlled scrimmage type of situation. And, 10 plays, and we got to choose where we started. They started in the red zone, threw a screen to Ben on the first play, got a touchdown there from the 10. 10 plays each, 2 series of that. And then we kind of did like a second half scrimmage where we played like a real game without special teams for the most part. So it was good. The Gators are going to be really good. Their defense is pretty aggressive. They've got some pretty powerful D linemen. They blitzed me a lot. I'm not certain that that'll be something they do all the time, but they really wanted to blitz the edges against me to keep me inside the pocket. And they had some success doing that, but we actually, I threw 2 touchdown passes on them at different points in the game, which felt good for me to kind of get my confidence under me. My O-line did a decent job for the most part. We've got some things we can fix to help me out there. I think it'd be something I see a lot from teams this year is trying to blitz edges to keep me inside the pocket, because I am slightly uncomfortable inside the pocket. I don't think that's going to be a secret to anyone, but so we'll adjust to that, and we did some good things. The Gators did a lot of really good things. They're good running back, good receiving core, good defense. So I think we're doing the Jets season preview here today, and we'll get our 2 guests to join us, but I'm really interested to see that first game of the season, because I think the Gators definitely are going to feel high about themselves. And I think the way that they were very amped up for this game, they've been probably practicing for a long time, and they were just like almost a little bit too amped up, like really coming after our guys. We've had 3 practices, with the Bucks, and so we weren't really up to that tempo right away. So I think knowing Cold Lake and how they are, I think that's going to be a pretty chippy game. But I'm really interested to see if they can go up there and hang with them, or if Cold Lake kind of humbles them. So were you able to see any of the game, any of the clips or anything like that, or hear anything about it?
Yeah, I had I had some eyes on the game. I wasn't there physically because I was in Lethbridge there, but had some eyes up. Shout out Tim McAnalyn. He was up there. He was scouting. He had his full clipboard out and everything, but he was just saying that, like, again, Gators look good. Like they look like a very well-oiled machine, and you could definitely tell like they've been having that tempo in practice. And he was like, "Oh, we could tell. You can tell with you being a quarterback, you weren't the most comfortable, but you still pose a threat with your experience and your legs. So I'm not surprised with
Mhm.
teams wanting to blitz you and because that's obviously the first thing you do with a fresh quarterback is blitz, right? Versus maybe like
Yeah.
with Darryl, we never really got a lot of blitzes because we were like, okay, no, he's too experienced to expose that. So that's the difference now with you got the tenure versus the new freshman field. But overall, it was nice probably to see clips, and I'm seeing some of the clips out. True question I want to know now, and I'm sure our guests want to know, where's the film at? Because we're all trying to see that film though.
Yeah, so we're not gonna share that film because we don't have to. But I'll make a little bit of highlight film for
Tape.
myself at some point. But no, we're not. We're definitely not going to show that. I think. Well, you know what? There's everything has a price, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I can
Hey,
be bought, and I'm certain our guests today have some things of that I might want or need, or some skills that I want to put to use. So before we get to our guests, I just have to. You know what? I have to rant a little bit here. It's been kind of a funny story that the Edmonton Elite won't come on our podcast, and I kind of thought it was just like they don't want to come on our podcast, whatever. So I wanted to reach out to them and ask them this year, hey, like, look, you've got a kind of a new board, new people. You're recruiting really well. You're picking up all these high end guys. You've got a quarterback. You've got guys coming from. I think they posted something today, like a bunch of different states and a bunch of different provinces and all this stuff. I'm like, what a great time to come on the podcast, grow the league. The podcast has been very popular within the Alberta Football League, but also outside of that. So what a great opportunity. And they got back to me. The president got to me. Now, I think he's the president. But he said that he would like to come on the podcast, but get this, that their board decided that they're not allowed. So think about this for a second. These motherfuckers actually took time out of their day and put it on the agenda. This is how these things work, Omari. You have to actually type this shit out. So they typed on an agenda, Teja's podcast, and then sat there like a bunch of grown-ass men and debated with each other whether they should come on a podcast. Now, think about this. I live rent-free in these motherfuckers' heads. All they do is think about me. And by the way, why are they so upset about the podcast, Omari? They're upset because I made fun of them a little bit. I hurt their feelings so badly that they had to hold a board meeting and put it on the agenda that we need to vote to not go on TJ's podcast because he hurt our feelings. It blows my mind that grown men sat in a room together and actually took time out of their day to be pissed off at me and not come on a podcast. So look, Edmonton, you guys are fucking terrible. I know you're listening right now. You love to listen to the podcast. Apparently my voice lives in your brains. You hear me when you sleep, and when you see me, you probably think about me when you're making love to your wives. Put me on things. This is what's clearly happening in this world, and that's fine. Whatever, you have your own taste, but I just find it funny that I'm taking all this time up in people's lives, and so I'm going to leave it at that. Edmonton, I know you're going to now try to come out and take cheap shots and hurt me because that's what makes you feel tough. Rah rah, flex your steroid muscles and all the stuff you're getting. That's fine, but like, you're pussies. You don't want to come on a podcast because I hurt your feelings. You have to have a board meeting about it. It's actually ridiculous. Okay, Omari, introduce our guests because we've got two great people. You think I'm controversial? Omari, go ahead and introduce our guest, will you?
I got one thing to add to that. I'm like, yo, where's my name in this? Like, I know it's TJ Pasha's. Like, are they just disrespecting me? Just leave my name
I
out
think
or
so,
what? Like,
Omari. You know what it is? It's racism. It's racism firsthand. Of course, they think about the white guy on the podcast, but there's no love to the colored dude who puts in a ton of work to make this happen. Come on now, this is crazy. You know what? And that's a great point. It's not just me, Edmonton Elite. Omari's here, and Omari doesn't say anything bad about anybody. Ridiculous. All right, Omari, introduce our
I'm
guest,
the
will you?
political one. All right, here we go. Let's get into our guests here. So, all right, now we all know this is the honorable guest of AFU, Gabriel coming up. All right, we all know him as don't test his side. Whatever you do, don't test his side. And hey, you know what? There's some QBs have learned some hard ways where you got to pick, pass breakups, all that. The man is here to reclaim his throne. I know last year there was another player who got the interception leader, but he's here to take that back. And even then, I believe you're like one interception off, so still like respectable numbers there. And this is a man too that loves to spice it up a little bit. I know this man's down in the States right now. He's bringing up some great spice with him up. He got to actually share with Teach a bit of what he's smoking. He's gonna be smoking that pack as he's bringing that back up to Canada. So looking forward to Gabe. Welcome, and of course, right, this man here, right, come in. He play in our league. Went over to Europe, right? Has had an unfortunate injury, but everyone, he got the treatment, got that Swedish treatment. I bet you that man, you know, he told the stories here. He told the stories here, but I bet you that man got treated nice, got taken care of. He's now back in Canada. Everyone's got a few doubts, but I'm sure this man's ready to take care of those beliefs out there and bringing it back here to the Cold Lake Jets and regrounding on what they did in a couple years ago and do that here again. So, Ray Sean, glad to have you back. Glad to have you 100%. I'm sure everyone's wanting to hear an update on how things are going, but I feel like you're feeling good.
Thanks
Welcome,
for having me. Thanks for
Gabriel.
having me.
Sean, back.
Man, talk about an animated entrance and introduction.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Like you couldn't have given a better one. I will say though, the only caveat I would have is I don't really care about being the interceptions leader because what that really means is you get thrown at a lot.
Yeah, legit. That's a great. You know what? That's how you know Gabe's great because that's the attitude that you need. Because we know Gabe's going to take his time to speak, and Gabe, we love it. So, let's start with you.
No, I want to hear what Provo has to say, and y'all have to.
That's what I'm saying. Let's let Provo go first, and then we'll let you kind of carry off. So, Ray Sean, how you been, man? Where you been? What have you been up to? What brought you back to the Cold Lake Jets? Are you going linebacker? Are you going back to quarterback? Just kind of update us because you've been a podcast guest a couple times and people want to know. So what's been going on with you?
Well, thank you for having me back, Tej. And what's up, Amari? How you doing, brother? How you doing, Gabe? Good to see you, brother. But yeah, I've been well. I've been rehabbing a lot. Like I came back from Switzerland when did I come back? In July. And yeah, just from there, got home, got right back to work, Had to lose the weight because I definitely put on a few pounds when I was out there. A Swedish, why I say Swedish? That's Swiss bread and cheese, man. It's the best. It's actually delicious, man. So yeah, other than that, I was in Toronto for a little bit and then I came back out here to BC. Just been working with the Rebels, the West Shore Rebels in the CGFL and, yeah, just getting myself ready for this season. Yeah, of course, there's going to be a lot of doubts. The man blew his tire last year. I'm Aaron Rodgers, bro, pretty much. But y'all know who Aaron Rodgers is, low key, right? but yeah, no, just been getting ready, and I'm very excited to come back to the lake, and yeah, I just kind of let it go right there. I'm playing QB this year.
So you are coming back as QB? Okay.
Yeah, cool, I got to play quarterback.
I figured you would. Yeah. Yeah. Here's the thing, Rayshawn, like you're similar to me, I think, in the fact that you can do a lot of different things and quarterback something you can kind of also do. So any kind of advice you can share with me, if you just send me messages and tips, if you see something on film. So I could use some,
bro,
all
year,
some help. Yeah. Appreciate it. Gabe, my man, your turn. What have you been up to? Where are you at? Talk to me about this season a little bit, what you're looking forward to. It's always a pleasure to hear your voice and this time to see your face.
It is a pleasure to see your mugs too as well, fellas. I missed y'all as we were talking pre-show. I missed y'all. Mm-hmm. I'm back home in Covina, California, my lovely home. Just been working on furnishing it, getting it ready to hopefully have my family down here at some point. Training, of course, and working, which with just those three alone, even without the kid, really takes up almost your whole day, believe it or not. So, I don't really have too much time to kind of hang out and all that, but it's good. I'm glad. Keeps me busy, keeps me focused, keeps me out of trouble, which is what I need to be. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to have Provo back for starters. I was very proud of him for him to get his offer. He deserved it. I'm really sad that it kind of ended the way it did, because he really had a lot to prove. And, I think even now, although, when he was out there, he started at Q, then switched to backer. I think even now coming back as a Q, there's another guy out here who calls himself the new sheriff in town. Yes, he is very good, but, you know, I'm still going to roll with my boy P. My boy P showed me, just like I've showed a lot of people, big things come in small packages. So, I'm very grateful to have him back. My guy that's like my blood right there. So it's good to have a brother back. But you know, I think this is normal Cold Lake fashion. We'll be physical up front, middle, back end, on both sides of the ball and on special teams. We're gonna compete at the highest level, which is something we do at practice on a daily basis, like I always say. And we're gonna bring that to the games, and just like last year, until otherwise proven, it runs through the lake. I'm sorry. I know people are gonna feel some type of way, but I gave all you guys a chance last year, including you two, who I love very much. But I gave everybody a chance. Some had two. So
Yeah,
until
no.
otherwise proven.
And you
Yeah.
started
Yeah, you
early.
know what? And that's you can't well, hey man, you can't argue the facts. So it is true 2 years in a row. Rayshawn, what are you most looking forward to coming back to the Alberta Football League after your, trip to Europe and experiencing that, going through the injury and the recovery? What are you most looking forward to, and when are you going to be heading to Cold Lake?
Yeah. So, to start off, the most thing I'm looking forward to being back is just around the guys and being on the team again. Just and to really be true to have the football back in my hand, because a year without a season, and I've done it before, but like that was due to other reasons. But because I couldn't and I really wanted to and I physically couldn't go, it just took something from me. So I'm just excited to be back on the field and get back to doing what I know that I can do and what I know I could show everybody over there I can do. Plus, big time too. I'm just really glad to be back in such a good league. Like I just man, the culture and not to say the culture, but like the players around the league and everything are really cool. There's a lot of nice guys, like cool guys to talk to, be around, and like yeah, I'm just looking really forward to being back on the field. That's all I can really say. I'm like I ain't got too much words for you guys. I'm just amped. That's it. And
Yeah, but
I should be back out in
appreciate
the
it.
lake in a couple of weeks.
Nice. So you're going to be going on pretty short practice time coming into game one, but against the Gators. Are you worried about that at all? Or are you into obviously you're probably into the playbook and you're probably communicating with the coaches, I'd imagine, but is that going to be a bit of a struggle or what are you thinking on that?
I'll say this, it's always going to be like a situation with your timing with your receivers and everything like that. But I mean, the first year we were out there, we had about the same amount of time, I could say, to get ready for Edmonton, and we
Mm-hmm.
know what happened there. Sorry, brother, love you, but
Mm.
but yeah, so but yeah, like I mean, yeah, it'll be hard, but we're gonna have our camp, and I'll be at camp for sure, so I'll be able to get a few practices in with the guys. But I think it's like riding a bike, once you get in the groove of things,
Yeah.
and you'll never forget.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Gabe, coming to you here. So, I kind of want to know you've obviously won 2 championships in a row. You've won a national championship. You've got a lot of personal accolades. I'm certain you've had opportunities to go elsewhere. What's kind of keeping you coming back to the Jets and to the Alberta Football League in general? Because I know you've probably explored different things, but I don't know if you have too much left to prove individually and as a member of the team. You've done pretty much everything so far in a short amount of time. What's your biggest motivation to coming back to Cold Lake?
Excuse me, sorry. Kind of a little bit of a loaded question. But for starters, so I've had a few different opportunities to go to a few different places. Actually, even in the middle of the season, my first year, I had actually got offered to go play back in Germany. It just wasn't, obviously, if I'd already committed to go somewhere, wasn't the situation I wanted, and I've never been a guy to kind of just pack up and go. I'm not one of those type of people, if you know what I mean. So I stayed, and then actually after that season, I actually got offered to go to Spain right after. So there was opportunities to go overseas, but kind of like I was telling, there's actually like a group text I have with Provo and a couple other guys, that we've had on our team and that are still on our team and so on and so forth. A big thing for me, just kind of like you said, there's not really much for me to prove anymore. I didn't have the normal career that even anybody, doesn't matter where you're from, would have to be able to get to where I'm at, to have the accolades, the name, the brand, anything you want to add to that. No, I didn't take the normal path. So there's not really much more for me to prove in that aspect to just keep, going everywhere. Just, yeah, this is me, but I have been moving into ventures as far as trying to see if I can get into other leagues. I've had a couple tryouts with some pro teams. It didn't work out, in the end to that point, and that's just the way things go. It's okay. But for me, it's like I've said to Provo on a lot of different occasions, especially when he was going through his process, you're going to feel like you don't belong. But when you're able to prove and showcase that you belong with a bunch of guys that are more qualified than you, what more do you really have to say in that aspect? So, it hasn't worked out and all that's fine. I'm 30 now. So, we know where I'm on the tail end more than I'm at the beginning, but career speaks for itself. I can get into that, but that's neither here nor there. As far as for, why I keep coming back to the Jets. Well, for starters, I did have a family in Cold Lake, or create one. My daughter is a Cold Lakean. So she's always going to be there. Although we live in Edmonton, a lot of her family does live in Cold Lake, so we're always going back and forth. So in a way, my extended family is there, but my family is there. Although I don't really have blood in Canada, I've grown a bond with the people of the city and not just the football players. And I'm really trying to make this short because it's really kind of a loaded answer in this part. But yes, I've made a lot of good family. My billets that I stayed with my first year out there, I mean, to be honest, we talk on the phone quite often, really quite often. Every holiday, my birthday, their birthdays, it's really like family. So it's more than just, the sport aspect. That's really like another home to me. Um, for the team specifically, though, there's just a way to end when you should have finished a certain way, and because things were a certain way, you could only do so much. You know, Small backstory: when we got to the Natty, literally our first practice, I actually rolled my ankle so bad I actually had a basketball in my ankle, um, and that was the night before. And I couldn't. We lost Provo. I couldn't really move. To be honest, I had to get carried off the field by 4 different people. It was that bad. And even still, with all that, I still was able to play a decent game and help my team be in the best position to win. But we ended up shooting ourselves in the foot. And and this is nothing against GTA because they're a great team. And I've said everything I need to say about them, their organization, and all that. There's nothing against them. But if we don't shoot ourselves in the foot, let's just call it what it is. Everybody saw the game. Like, we're back to back, and we're the first team to do that in ages. As far as going over there and then winning here and then winning over there for a natty.
Yeah.
And that's great. And I'm very proud of GTA for doing it, because if anybody deserved to beat us like that, and I don't mean like that, I mean actually like showcasing, like, okay, we are one of the top teams. It is them. They're a great organization. They're a team of not just talented guys, but gritty guys, kind of like us. So, it's an acceptable loss, but it's one that's left very sour, kind of like Provo was saying, in his situation. And, we got something to prove in the aspect of people still think we're a fluke. I'll tell you, any team I'm on that I'm leading is not a fluke. So, we got to prove that in that aspect to kind of sum it all up. And yeah, that's just kind of really what it is, to be real for me. I lead by example. I believe I have something to prove as far as we're no fake, and Provo can attest. The guys follow.
Yeah, and I appreciate
Facts.
that answer. Really thought out, and said well. And it's important. I kind of figured you'd go that way, knowing you a little bit over, getting to know you over the time and speaking to you. And I think that it's a really special part of the Alberta Football League, in the fact, like you said, the people that you meet, not just the football players, but when you've got a billet family and then people in the community. And I say this to my wife all the time, because she's like, are you ever going to retire? And I think about that, and it's hard for me I think yes, I'll retire when I'm no longer good enough for sure, because I'm not going to be on the sideline. Like I'm not a bench player. That's just not going to be who I am. I'm just not fit for that. But if I can continue to contribute in football, it's hard for me to say no, because I feel like if I say no, I'm giving up a ton of memories that I'm no longer going to have, and it just every year there's just those memories that you'll tell 15 years from now, when you're sitting at a bar with a buddy and you remember this, you remember that. And it's like FOMO. If I retire from football, like fear of missing out on memories of my life, like important memories. So I think that's a really great point, and something that's just underrated with our league. And being one of the very few football leagues in Canada that you can play with after junior university, I think is very special. And then on top of it, just all the other things. So that's really good. Omari, you got anything for these guys?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on, like, coming into this season now, it's they're gonna go, basically, this is now the third year on the provincial side here for you guys to go back to back. What are some things now that you guys are seeing from other teams now gearing up? Because as like I say in the NFL, like typically whenever you go to your division, you take the top team, you got to beat them out of the division, and you guys are that now. So you have Airdrie Irish, who haven't stopped practicing since after the provincial. You have Gators, who have taken on that same kind of road now, where continuously going. Edmonton's, they might have been doing the same. You never know. All other teams are basically eyeing you guys up now. So obviously now the target's gotten bigger. And how are you guys adjusting to that? Is there a different mentality? Obviously, you can't turn off the gas because hey, if we slow down at all, we could potentially get past. And of course, now, not to say you guys will get past, but you want to do that work to ensure that we stay ahead. So let you guys both answer that and see what you guys are focusing on to stay ahead.
P, you want to go first?
No, you take that.
Okay.
No Diddy.
Yeah, that's the reason why I was like, So I will say, another thing I've kind of orchestrated within the league, and I will take pride in this one. I made everybody get better. And it's not just you individually. I told you how we were going to beat you when I came on here for the first one last year. I told you how we would beat you guys. And then during the year, I think we actually got in an argument with somebody, and Teague told everybody how we were going to beat you guys. And again, I love you too, but I do have to say it. That's exactly what happened. And as a result, it's caused not just you guys and your teams, but it's caused everybody to sit back and say, okay, we cannot beat these guys at their game. So we need to up a different way. And everybody has found a way to get better offensively. Now, that's not to say nobody has gotten better defensively, because I definitely think everybody has. But the one thing you're seeing from every team, truthfully, even the ones that are trying to be quiet, like, the Edmontons and the Cowboys, who is my sleeper team this year, to be quite honest, once we get towards that ranking stuff at the end. Everybody's working on their offense. And that's exactly, truth be told, like, I like that. Like, I don't want to play games, as fucked up as this may sound, because we've done it to everybody. I want to play games where we're beating you guys like 42-9 or like fucking 36-10 or some shit. Like, it's cool. It looks good on the stat sheet. Don't get me wrong. That shit's boring though. Like, it really is. I would rather play a team that is going to throw at me, whether their guy's open or not, just because fuck, we can throw the ball. Like, all right, cool. And that is going to score points on us, whether running, throwing, or you get something on special teams, or you come at us defensively, like, with a turnover. Like, that's what we want. Because at the end of the day, just as I said a little bit ago, we're competitors. So I've actually, truthfully, like, not only with my team, like, truthfully, because I raised the bar when I got there, and I appreciate the guys embracing that, as I've said before, including Provo, no Diddy, but I've made us as a league, like, truthfully, and you guys, why you guys smiled when I said that, because I'm right. Like, everybody had to get better offensively. Like, Tease, you had to change positions, and I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, they was that vital to find a way to get your best player the ball for you guys to be a successful offense. On a
Gabe, you're not wrong, and I am smiling because this happens a lot. I've learned that you are a truth teller, and I've learned that I can probably trust you more than anyone else to tell the truth. And you know what? And I mean that. That's not sarcasm.
No, yes,
I mean that, and it's true because, and I love it because, and I've been saying, I've told the story about my past when I was president of the league and how I am literally the reason I saved the Cold Lake Jets. I was the only one to fight for them because I knew I could see what they could bring to the table. I could see into the future, like how good they were going to be with being in that market and how good they had gone with the sponsorship, and then look at what they've done. And now, not only is we've already seen teams try to copy your game day experience because you guys do such a great job with your game day experience and how you run your games and getting all those kids involved and all the wonderful activities that you guys do there. And other teams are now trying to get there. And now you're seeing other teams try to match you on the field. And so finally, a team like Edmonton, who, by the way, you're the one team in a city of 1 million people with university football and 2 junior teams, and you can't recruit. It's something you need to look inward. So finally now, hopefully we've got Edmonton recruiting because they realize we can't do this anymore. We talk so much shit. We cry so hard about not going on TJ's and Omari's podcast that we just can't go up to Cold Lake and compete with them at all because we're too busy crying and whining and bitching and complaining about everything else in the world. So now finally someone has stepped up and said, hey, why don't we just use our city of 1 million people and get ourselves a quarterback? Why don't we actually try and go and recruit? We're the only team around here. So finally they're able to do it. I still don't think they're ever going to win a championship in the history of their team because it's just they're not built that way. I will cheer for every other team over Edmonton every single time. And again, I know you're listening right now, and I know you're writing this on your billboards and all this stuff because you want to come get me, but you should focus on the Jets first because you got to get them, and you haven't at all, ever. So I think you're right, Gabe. You have brought out the best in the league. The Jets have, and they've really done good for the AFL. And I'm hoping that this is a year that there is a lot of parity because, like you said, these blowout games, they're no good for you guys. It's no good for you guys to blow everyone out, then have to go
league.
Then you got to go play. You got to go play GTA in the national final, and you're not used to kind of that adversity. It's tough, right? So you want to have games that prepare you for that national championship. I think it's going to be. And by the way, I agree with you on Grand Prairie. So for those that don't know, Grand Prairie has got Nathan Aldred coming back. I don't know if a lot of people know who that man is, but he's a little older now, but we've seen Darrell Leeson do crazy things at 50 years old. Nathan Aldred is the best quarterback that I have ever played against in my life as far as what he was able to do and capable of day in, day out, year in and year out. He is that guy. He is that good. And they also have a great receiver in Tyson. And that defense was no joke last year. So GP is something else.
They've been silent and been cooking up there. Everyone in GP, they're making $100K driving lifted trucks, balling, right? And I just
we might need to check that. We might need to check what's going on over there. What's going on? Hey.
I just always say that because I know the joke in Alberta is you want to make $100K, go up north. So I always just feel like for GP, it's an easy recruiting sell. It's like, hey, here's the keys to the truck. The company you're with, making $100K. Here's practice. Away you go. So I just make that as a joke. I'm sure
Cam, I know you listening, boy. I need you to plug me with whatever y'all got going up over there. I need some of that money. You know what I'm saying? What's up?
And my follow-up question then is because this is now one thing I was talking to and seeing is just I have to call it ego management because this is something now too. Where you got each team, they also have the stars coming in. You know, you call Jets, Irish, you call Edmonton, anyone. You got all these high-level players coming in. What does it look like for you guys as your team right now to help manage everyone's egos coming in? Because obviously everyone wants to win, everyone wants to play, and like their style of ball, and like everyone has different styles. But obviously, when you're coming into a team now, and you got all these different teams that have different cultures, how are you guys going to manage that going through? Because I know I'm going to ask the same question to the Gators. I'm going to ask the same question. I think Irish already passed, but any team that's been going for a while now is obviously how to answer that. So I'll give you guys a chance to answer that there, and obviously everyone's going to get a chance there. But yeah, I'll let you guys take it away there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Gabe. Let me get this one. All right. Well, to have okay, pretty much, yo, to deal with egos, people gotta realize you gotta stay humble. Where are we playing? Realistically, where are we playing? We're not in the NFL. We're not in the CFL. We're in the AFL. So, yeah. You can think you're all hot, spicy, and whatever you want to be, but that don't matter, bro. You're playing on the same team as me. So calm it down, bring it down. We just keep everybody humble, and also too, like, yeah, everybody is, yeah, we might have some high level players on the team and whatever, but everyone knows that we're coming together for one common goal, and that's the revenge tour. So if you can't get, if you can't get down with the movement, you're getting moved out. Simple.
I love it.
Gabe,
Yeah,
that's
to
all
kind
you
of
now, buddy.
piggyback off that, and particularly directly for us, it's the leadership. Um, Kind of as you guys can tell, like, just speaking for me, and I'll kind of touch on some of the other guys, including Provo, but me directly, as you guys can tell, I don't play no bullshit at all. And you guys know me on a deeper level, you know what I mean? So you know that. So when it comes to my team, and we can all easily say, like, I'm probably the face of that. You do you seriously think I'm gonna let some bullshit like that play or stand? Hell nah. And the beautiful thing is I have guys like a Provo, like a Derek, like a Teague, like a Cole, you know, guys that have done it, even guys from the pros like a Dirks, in addition, who have no problem saying, hey, you know what, I like how you lead. Let me go ahead and add to that. I appreciate that because while it takes a lot for them to do that, and kind of say, we're gonna follow you. It's also very hard for me to really do that. Anybody who says it's not, it's just easy to lead a bunch of people a certain way. It's not. The way I do things, especially like I said, I'm speaking on mine before I touch on everybody else. It's not. And it's not for everybody. And Provo will tell you I push a lot of buttons, but I push the right buttons. And that's why Eagles are always in check. Because people see, okay, look, this motherfucker gonna push me. But at the same time, he gonna do the same shit to himself, but he gonna act a certain way. All right. And then to trickle down to my other leaders, like I was touching on, it's not just my attitude, it's their attitude. It's what they want as well. And because we all have the same common goal, that's also what makes it better. Provo just wants to win just like I do. Cole just wants to win just like I do. Teague just wants to win just like I do. Like when you guys all have a common goal, it's okay, what do we got to do to get there? Okay, whose turn is it to shut the fuck up? Because we know I'm a loud motherfucker, but even I know when to shut the fuck up. Like, and it's that serious. There's got to be a balance of power of that through any team or any organization, business, with your leadership. If there's no balance of power like that, that's when egos become an issue. And I think because we have that good check and balance, that's why that's not an issue for us. But I will say, I think that's what is key. Maybe not how we do it, because everybody's got to do it their own way. But I think that's what is key for every team in our league. You have to be able to kind of police things a certain way. And although it may be kind of fucked up, because we're all, again, like Provo said, we're all at the same level, but you do kind of have to have a no nonsense attitude with shit. And, like I said, I don't, and my contemporaries don't either. So it just works very well for us. And I think for everybody, I think once that kind of happens, in addition to the talent and the attention to detail, getting to practice and all that, I think that's what's successful that'll be a successful thing for everybody, truthfully.
I like that. I like what you said there with a balance of power, and I guess and follow that to basically just knowing when to shut up and say, hey, keep quiet for this point. I'll have my moment. I think that's really key because as men, as alphas as we are, we like to compete, and we lose that clarity of like just being able to see everything, see the full picture. But I know I like that, and I guess a good way to announce it and manage it too. Teach back to you.
Yeah, I think, I've seen it firsthand. I mean, you've seen Cold Lake being, we were in a tight game with Cold Lake last year. I think it was 6-3 for them at halftime. And we felt like we were really getting things going. And second half came and we got our asses handed to us because there was no panic. Clearly, there was no internal fighting. There was no issues, which we thought, like, I'll be honest with you, when we walked into the locker room, we thought we've got them. We thought they're going to be screaming at each other, yelling at each other, and they're going to blow up because the game should not have been that close. And I was obviously wrong. It didn't work out that way. And to me that was clear that the leadership is good in there, because that was a situation where I think lesser stable teams would be losing their minds at each other, and then they would just blow up. So, and I've seen that. I've been a part of teams like that. I've seen it from both sides. So, and Cold Lake, and that's not the first time Cold Lake's done that, right? They've come out and they seem to be able to gather themselves, and it doesn't surprise me knowing Teague and Rayshawn and Gabe and all the and even Glenn Dembicki. Like, say what you want about Glenn. Yeah, but Glenn is good at what he does, and Glenn can keep a team together, and he's got a lot of experience with that. So, and he's overall, he can be a dick sometimes, but overall, Glenn's a good dude. So,
and we can't forget about D though.
Yeah,
Damon too.
Mr. Jackie Moon, good old Jackie Moon himself.
Jackie Moon,
Damon.
big time recruiter.
Damon's and he plays a little safety. He plays a little safety every once in a while. Does a decent job there. So yeah, no, he's kept that team afloat, and I have a ton of respect for him going through he's gone through all the shit that Cold Lake's gone through, and he's sacrificed his own time, his finances, and to keep that team afloat. So good on that man for doing what he's doing up there in Cold Lake. What is Gabe, let me ask you, what would be your advice to other teams? Obviously you want to win and be the best team, but I think you're on the same page as me is you just want the league to grow. You want the league to get better. You want to face better talent. It's no fun facing guys that you can just beat in your sleep. You want to face guys that are going to challenge you and make you better. So what would be your advice to other teams that are looking to emulate what Cold Lake has done, on and off the field? What are some key things that teams can look at doing to build what you guys are building down there?
See, it's kind of tough in all seriousness. And I really mean that because it actually took Teague to kind of explain something to me for me to see why it also works for us so well. You really kind of have to get lucky with a signing, just like they did. Everybody had signed guys before. I don't want to make it seem like I'm the first one that ever came into this league, but you have to get lucky in the aspect that the guy you sign is actually bought in all the way. There's many different times you can sign somebody, or even if it's not like an import, but you bring in a super talented guy that you expect to be a leader or a star of your team, if you will, and they have the worst fucking attitude. They're the worst fucking leader. They're always dicking around or fucking off or some shit. And how are you ever supposed to get your team to buy in? It's like, okay, this is the guy we brought in the lead job, but he's not, So how do you really expect anybody to fall in line with that? And that's really where I say, like, truthfully, Teague really took time to tell me, like, hey, he sat me down and was like, we actually really kind of got lucky having you the way you are. And I'm really not trying to boast about myself, but that's a true statement though, because if you really play it out, like, let's just flip it. Let's flip it a different way. Let's say Amari's the key piece to your team, Tej, and we don't know that. But Amari goes and he changes the entire culture. He changes even for you, changes the way you look at things, how you carry yourself, and he's bought all the way in. So not only do they see you riding with him because of how good he is and all that, which we know happens a lot of times with, new players coming with veteranship, but he's bought into the system and he's bought into making the system better. That's going to make guys say, you know what? Fuck this whole shit. Let me start acting right. Like, and I know it sounds very deep and vulgar how I mentioned that, but that's just the truth. That's really the truth. And we got lucky in the aspect. I had been around the block a few times where I had been on some shit teams overseas and been treated a certain way. So, and some of it was my fault as well. I had to learn. I had to grow as an athlete as well. So it took me learning, everything I did in my experiences to be able to come here and be the way I was, which also helped me buy in to the system and the guys buy into me, kind of changing the system. So you got to get lucky having a guy. Doesn't need to be an import specifically, but just one guy that just everybody can follow. And that could be you two, for instance. Like, just straight example, that could literally be y'all two for your team. The guys just have to see it a certain way. And it's like I kind of explained, and Provo can attest to this once I finish. There's a kid in our text chat, and I literally always tell him, like, you're always so easy to follow nonsense. And he kind of laughs, he's a kid, he's only like 23. But it's like, he's like, well, why do you say it? It's like, because when you're with us, you know not to follow the nonsense. Do you understand why you're successful in that aspect? And he's like, yeah, because the reason why I bring that up is because we were talking, and he was like, life's kind of been tough since I left football. So I was like, the reason why is because the discipline you had with us, holding yourself accountable, holding yourself a certain way, is gone. You went back to hanging and dicking around with all these wrong people. Like, you hung out with us and you had to be held to a certain standard. Sometimes your surroundings are good, sometimes the leadership around you. And we're changing people the right way. So again, like I said, it goes to having a special person. Like I said, it could be anybody. They buy into the guy, they follow the guy because they see how he is and how he handles things. Then not just that, just like I said, a balance of power with your leadership, because it takes a village. If you want to go fast, go solo. If you want to go far, go with the team. So, you really got to have not just 2 or 3, but you got to have about maybe a good 10 guys that are actually bought into a system. And sometimes the vision may not always be clear, because we all know no road is, a sunny slope, but you have to be willing to just ride in that motherfucker. You may catch a flat, you may hit a couple bumps, you may catch a swerve here and there, but let's get to the end, because that beach over there looked real nice. And I think that's just really it. Just good structure, in addition to having a guy that's bought in, because that just makes better practices. That makes better film session. That changes the way people talk to each other, the respect, how bought in they are into the community, just everything, and we got lucky. That's the way I am. But I also say all that, and to finish, I don't think that's not something we don't have within this league. I think it's something where guys are trying to copycat so much they don't realize what they have in their own backyard.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Kind of like, I'll be honest, as you bring up Edmonton so hilariously a lot, that's a big place. I live there. I have a place there. I know how big it is.
Mm-hmm.
How are you not able to find athletes that you have to come down to my area to find athletes? And that kind of goes to something you were talking about, saying we were the team with all the Americans. We have one American.
No, I didn't say you were the team that did. I said that on the last podcast. I said that there are teams that bring in Americans, and I was actually speaking about Edmonton this year. To be honest with you,
I wouldn't be me if I didn't touch on something like that. So there's some other stuff, and we can get back to that later. A little bit, but like stuff like that. There's just no way you're gonna tell me that you can't recruit. Like, you can't. You can't. We're able to find guys in this, as people want to say, in this scab of a fucking place called Cold Lake, as people want to say. The majority of our team comes from Cold Lake. Like, I know people like to say, oh, you guys are bringing all these guys. I'll be dead honest with you. And Provo can literally tell you this as I'm saying this. Majority of our team lives in that town.
Yeah.
I'm not even shitting you.
No, I know that to be true. Yeah, I know that to be true.
There's maybe honest to God, maybe and we're good, we're the key guys, maybe 10 of us that come from out of town, bro. The other fucking 45 are in town.
But I mean, that's what you need, though. That I have no problem with that at all. I think the growth of the league is funny. We like to poke fun at it because there were before Max started doing it, but they were so clearly paying players with prepaid gift cards, it wasn't even funny.
Melvin at Banqua.
Yeah, I should have came for that, man. I needed some of that.
Melvin. There's some stories about that guy, that's for sure. Good football player though, no doubt. But when I was president, I actually tried to put a proposal forward to at least talk about compensation for players, because my mindset was kind of you look at some of these leagues in Europe, they're allowed to compensate. Some do, some don't. I know it's obviously it's like this huge argument going on right now with these women all up in arms because WNBA players get paid less than NBA players, not understanding that it's all due to revenue. It blows my mind. Everybody's gone so damn woke. Everyone's got to be offended by everything. By the way, I'm deflecting, but it's my podcast.
Okay.
It's my podcast. I can do whatever the fuck I want. You know what? Stop choosing to be offended. Yeah. I'm so sick and tired. Everybody's offended by everything.
Couch made pillow ass niggas. Yes.
Think about this thing for 1 second. If you're offended by something, you're literally choosing to be offended. And if you're choosing to be offended, you're choosing to be miserable. And if you're choosing to be miserable, your life's going to suck every single day. Or you could just be like, I'm not offended by that. Okay, I'll give you guys an intimate story, okay? My wife has
nobody.
had. My wife has had, tragically, has had a couple miscarriages in our life as we've tried to have
Damn.
kids. But here's the thing. People ask me all the time, do you have kids? It's a very common question. And if I was one of these woke ass weird people who get offended by everything, every time someone asked me if I had kids, I would lose my mind, start screaming and yelling, how dare you ask me that? My wife has had 2 miscarriages. How dare you even think of it? But I don't live my life like that. Instead, when people ask me if I have kids, yeah, you know what? It does sting me a little bit because it reminds me of those moments that we've had. But I just say, you know what? We don't have kids right now. I coach a lot. My wife's a teacher. And so we're around kids a lot, and we're believing in the universe to happen when we're ready, because I choose to be that way. So this has nothing to do with this podcast, but I'm just saying I'm sick
It's
and
the
tired of
facts,
people
though.
being offended by everything all the time. Just choose to not be offended. Omari, I am now off the tracks right now. I don't know what's going on. Here's the thing. I'm golfing in a big
All right.
tournament tomorrow, and I'm amped and I'm excited to golf in
I
this
like
tournament.
it.
So now my brain is going all over the place. So Omari, take it over. Do you got anything else for these guys before we're going to obviously open the mic to both of them, because that's when we get our best content anyway. So do you got any questions before we open the mic for free Gabe speech?
Anything off the top of my head? When it comes to, I guess just obviously team goals are going to be like natty dynasty and everything. But I want to know some of the finer tune refinements as as a seasoned athlete as we are, of hey, what are some things that you're hey, I'm really focusing on this part of my game this season, and I'll give each of you guys a chance to answer that for both yourself.
P, go first.
Okay, so what? Say that one more time,
No
my bad,
worries.
brother. I was just looking for a
So the
charger.
question is, obviously with team goals, always dynasty, and you go, it's team first and everything. But what are some the finer tune seasoned athlete goals that you're really trying to strive towards and really check off this year as a seasoned athlete? You're hey, I'm really trying to make sure for this part of my game, I want to see some growth in it or some acceleration in, and for that. So it can be definitely personal, but more something that you're watching for yourself.
Oh, okay, so goals for myself this year, I guess is to say, for one, to prove to myself, that I'm still capable. That's probably goal number one for sure. But I'd say more or less to be more accurate as a passer, and also share the ball. You know what I mean? We have a lot of weapons on the team. Can't say too many. Can't say who. I mean, you already see who we posted, right? But we got some weapons on the team that might go crazy. So I got to be able to share the ball this year. Can't get too locked in.
Nice. And then for you, Gabe, what are some of those finer tune goals that you're striving towards?
I mean, I guess personally, I think my top 3 to be a better leader. I always strive to be a better leader than I was last year. Be more technically sound. I know people get infatuated with my game, but trust me, I'm a true perfectionist. I find a whole lot more imperfections than you find highlight plays. Trust me. And lastly, to be quite honest, is always to help a player on my team succeed in a way they've never had before. Every year I've been grateful to have at least 5 at a bare minimum. But I always strive to at least just try to change somebody's life, whether athletically or, non-athletically. There's a lot of people that don't really get any highlight plays in football, or sometimes don't play or aren't on winning teams. So I try to change that. I think outside of that, though, just help the boys win. That's really it.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Oh, sheesh. Okay, I got to put some meaningful stuff in there too. God damn, Gabe. Yeah, I want to help somebody
I
too.
mean, you
Love
said
them.
you wanted to share the ball, motherfucker. That's meaningful enough.
Yeah, that is.
Okay.
Man, listen to
Okay.
this guy.
He's gonna be like Oprah back there as quarterback. You're getting the ball. You're getting the ball. You're getting the ball.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's awesome to hear. And TJ, I'll add to that.
Yeah, no, sorry. I was just gonna say that's something I'm also gonna work on, Rayshawn. What I found in the exhibition game is I haven't played quarterback. I played quarterback 1 year in high school, and that's it. So I haven't played since then. It's a very long time, and so I basically know nothing about it. I get by on my athleticism. I've always been able to throw the football, but what I found hard was I couldn't help but get locked into somebody. Like it's like when I was watching the film, there was 3 guys wide open, and then I threw to the guy that was double covered because I locked in on him, and somehow when I'm watching film, I'm like, how the fuck did I not see that in the game? But it's like my brain gets like almost I delete everyone around me, and it's just me and my teammate and whoever's covering him. How do I get rid of that? Like, do you know what I'm talking about? Like, I couldn't.
Oh, I definitely know what you're talking about. And for me, when I was younger, that was my biggest option. I mean, my biggest problem. So what my coach would do for us, like to help, is more or less we'd kind of go blind. So like when we were practicing, we would keep your eyes closed. So now, if you know the play, you know what route you know what all the routes are going to be. You know where they're going to end up on the field. Yeah, it's hard. You keep your eyes closed as you're backing down, and you feel yourself. You kind of do this drill
Mm,
with no defense. You feel where the routes are going to be, and you're already feeling okay. So call a coverage in your mind, cover 2. You know that the corner's going to drop out or whatever he's going to do, and so now you're back out with your eyes closed, and at the last second you
mm,
open and find a receiver. So instead of getting stuck in now when you say hut and you're backing out, the first thing you do is going to look to your hot receiver or whoever you want to throw to, and then
mm,
you're going to be stuck there. So your best option, you start practicing with your eyes closed, and now you open on your second, third step, and
mm.
now you can see everybody.
Hey,
It's
that's
your
that's
last second, right?
fantastic. So
Yeah.
that's great advice for anyone listening to this podcast that wants to be a quarterback. I like that a lot. So I'm gonna because I can picture and feel what you're saying, and I can feel that actually being very helpful because it was frustrating for me because I know football so well, and I can see defenses so well. I coach defense and I've played defense, and but then you get out there at quarterback and it all feels kind of foreign, and it was so it's going to be a little bit. There's going to be a lot of growing pains for me this year. I think the thing is it's such a great crop of quarterbacks this year. Like I think I'm the worst one. And like I mean as an actual quarterback, like I think I can run probably better than a lot, but as like a pocket passer quarterback, I'm not quite there. But I think I can grow. I feel more comfortable even after that first game. So I enjoyed it a lot, and I'm looking forward um to seeing what I can really put on the board because this is I've done a lot in this league, and this is one thing I haven't done before, so it's a new challenge, and that's really exciting. Um,
Yeah, bro, and that for sure is like a good. That's the number one thing a quarterback has to go into with the mindset of, all right, yeah, I might miss a pass here, I might miss a pass there,
Short
but don't
term
take
goal,
yourself
babe.
out of the game and or like out of the situation. Like, don't beat yourself up to the point where you're like, oh well, screw this. Why the hell
right.
I shouldn't even be doing this. But you just keep a positive mind, and you got to just like everyone says, you got to be a goldfish. Just like DB's got to be a
Right.
goldfish,
Yeah.
QB's got to be a goldfish too.
Yeah. No, I
Low
like
key
that. That's a great
sometimes.
memory or a great reminder. All right. We'll start with you, Ray Sean, but we're going to open up the mics. It's free time. Say what you want. Call people out. Who wants to smoke? Who doesn't? I know that's Gabe's thing. So, Ray Sean, we'll start with you. It doesn't have to be that, but any kind of final words on yourself, on Cold Lake, on the season, anything else, any shout outs you want to make for the podcast? Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. First, I got to shout out my mom and dad. Got to shout out the peeps, bro. Love y'all, because I know you're gonna be listening. Shout out to the babes. Love you too, girl. If you do listen, probably not though. But
Okay.
what's it called? Nah, I don't really have no call outs or anything. Nothing like that. I'm not too spicy. That's Gabe's avenue. But yes, I ain't lose yet in the league. I love y'all, but I ain't lose yet. So I'm
That's
coming,
true.
and I'm not losing no more.
That's
I'm
true.
not losing. I still ain't lose. So we're not losing. So I just say that's all I can say. I'm just coming. We're coming for everything this year, bro. That's all I'm coming.
Appreciate
Yeah, I'm
that,
coming
bro.
for everything.
I do,
Yeah.
and I believe you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gabe.
So I'm gonna try to be nice. I know I always say that and it doesn't end too well sometimes, but
Hey, here's what I'm gonna say to that. You can let it loose. You wanna know why? Because someone commented AFL Live Laugh Love one of the episodes ago, and that's been on my mind this entire time. So let it fly. Let it
you're
fly.
right. You're right. Well, for starters, I will say, and this may come as a shock to say, but I appreciate all coaches and players from every team that reached out this offseason. It does, as quoting somebody on this podcast, it does feel good to be wanted. But
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yep.
this was just this was just the best place for me, after weighing everything out, thinking about the fam and how what I have to do and all that stuff. This was just the best place for me. It's nothing against anybody else. It was just the best place for me to come back to. It's not to say things can't change anytime in the future, as I've said many different times in my life. This is just right now. To kind of carry into my team, just like Provo said, mainly like I said, it does come through the lake until you prove otherwise. And I don't really need to touch on that too heavily. It's there. The trophy still, when I get back there, the trophy will be back at my house. So I'm just saying, I live around a lot of you Edmonton cats too, just like T says. I know you listening, so and a lot of you guys have my address. So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, bro, if you really want that, come
They
get it,
are
bro. I'm
listening.
just saying.
It's funny, actually. Majority of our downloads come from the Edmonton area. So hey, listen, the hate listeners pay the bills. Everybody, all right.
I'm just saying, but nah. Although it is fun to poke at them, I do follow my boy Trey over there. Trey is a great leader, and I
I
do
love
think,
Trey. Trey's the DB, right? Number 12.
yeah. But
Yeah,
he'll be wearing
yeah,
the same number as me this year. But
yeah.
yes, yet again,
Okay, yeah.
um,
He's very good. And he was a good guy. I like him. I like a lot of
no,
the Edmonton guys.
yeah,
Who's that?
him,
V
yes.
Capone.
Hey, actually, let me be very
Yeah.
clear.
Okay.
I actually like and respect a lot of the Edmonton players.
Yeah,
My
man.
problem obviously comes with the board members who 4 or 5 of these grown men who decide to have meetings to decide if they should or should not go on a podcast. That's my
That
problem.
shit is
So
kind of funny.
Edmonton players, hey, for most of you, I don't have a problem. You guys are good guys. Don't try to kill me when you play me in the third week of the season. Thanks. I want to golf this year, so no injuries, please. Thank you. Keep
Well,
going, Gabe.
and there's no shot to tease, but please bring the physicality when y'all play, or we go up to play y'all. Like, please, we all know I love that. So please, somebody come hit me for real. But no, my boy Trey is a great leader. He'll have those boys right. Whether I know everybody likes to poke fun at them because they've had a lot of guys commit and not come in the past. Whether who comes or who doesn't, no Diddy and pause. As far as athletes, hey, I just gotta say it. But like, just on a serious note, though, whoever ends up showing up for them, you know, I just hope that they put a good product on the field. As for everybody, and I know in particularly as you as well as Amari have mentioned, this is another team we could touch on. I know you guys were hit very hard with the Gators coming back in addition to Airdrie, but you guys are still here. You guys are still here. You guys still doing your thing. And yes, the Gators I do think will be very good this year. I had a few good talks with Kirk on my side, and I do definitely agree with you. They're going to be extremely good, but the league still has to play out a certain way. Just like I won't ever say my team is always going to do this. I will just tell you what we've done and what I believe we will continue to do. But I definitely think this year will be competitive. I think everybody, despite the addition with the Calgary team and taking talent from a lot of you guys, I definitely think the league is still very balanced. And granted, yes, Calgary would be good as far as the Gators. Last time I checked, Airdrie is still in this league. That was a number 2 team last year. We got to start putting more respect on their name, guys. Like, Anton is still there. Okay. And as much as me and Josh kind of privately go back, back and forth, he's still one of the best QBs in this league. Let's just call it what it is. He's led that team to be where they're at, from being low-key one of the bottom of the barrels when I first started paying attention, to be where they're at. So we got to start giving Airdrie a little bit more respect. I really appreciate you agreeing with me, Tej, on GP. I'm telling everybody that is the sleeper team this year. Do not be surprised if they finish third or fourth or even higher. I'm being serious. Like, watch out for them. That is a secret team that it can really slap you in the fucking mouth. And especially with my boy being a Cali native and Cam, trust me, he gonna have them boys right. Y'all two already know how I feel about y'all teams. Y'all two are the leaders. I don't need to say nothing else. You guys are gonna do what you need to do to have them right. You guys always do, which is why you guys are always in the position you guys are. And I think that kind of covers everybody as far as teams. You know, us, like I said, I think we'll be where we need to be, and whoever we end up playing to do what we need to do, we'll do that. But I am still the greatest host of the biggest party in Alberta, and until otherwise proven, I plan on hosting that motherfucker again. So there's that.
You're also the unofficial
Third,
podcast host. So
yes.
third,
Oh,
third.
okay, yes. Before I continue, so going with that this year, perfect idea. So I don't know if we can figure this out. It doesn't matter again if we're in it or not. Speaking on my team, I really seriously mean it's just like I meant this last year. I think just like you guys were able to try to figure out how to somewhat live, kind of do a podcast of it. I think you guys actually have to be there and call the game and do that live. If you guys aren't in it. If you're in it, of course, that's completely out of the fuck. I'll fucking come do it if I'm not in it. I don't give a damn. I am the official unofficial third member. So if one of y'all are in it, I'll come do it. But on a serious note, I definitely think if you guys aren't fortunate enough to get in there, I think you guys should do that. I think, like, I know that's probably something really big and beyond and probably a lot to figure out nonetheless, but I really think that shit is the limit this year for you guys. I think you guys figure that out. And it doesn't even have to be the conference game. It could be another game. Maybe you two have a bye the same week or some shit. I don't know. But figure something out like that and make that happen. That'll just blow shit through the roof for this thing. And it's not just for me, it's for you two. I think that would be great, especially for people to not just hear your voices, although a lot of us know your faces. It's great for the rest of the world that has started to fall in love with you guys in this podcast to really kind of see you guys and, oh, they doing this now? Well, what do we got to do to get them there? What kind of sponsorship money do we got to think about putting into that? You know what I mean? I'm a businessman too, so I'm gonna say that.
I love it.
So
hey, I love that, Gabe. And Omari and I have talked about that. It is a logistics thing, but it is something we want to do. I think the podcast is, I don't really know what we expected when we first started, but it is taken off probably much more than we thought it would. People really enjoy it. And so we're obviously doing a decent job, and it's, I won't lie, like it's hard. It's a lot of work. Omari puts a lot of work into the social media side, and then even just coming up with content that keeps everything kind of fresh, and it can be difficult, but I love doing it. And I think doing something like that would be phenomenal. Like if I'm not in it, I know I was talking to Double D, who does some great media for the league. And he actually mentioned possibly doing like a college countdown type panel with me and Omari in that game. So
I'm telling you that would seriously, and like I said, I know it kind of segued away from where I was getting to kind of close, but I had to mention that because that was really on my list. Like seriously, guys, I know we can all fantasize about some shit like that. Trust me when I tell you guys that shit would be the fucking moon for you. And I would want that more than anything. Trust me.
Yeah.
Trust me. So I hope to God you guys can figure that out.
And the thing is too, it's very possible. Like it's an achievable thing.
Yeah.
As well, right? So
yeah, I'll definitely say that because another thing I want to mention was probably going to be the end of it, the end thing I was going to say. But with that, everybody keep an eye out. I know the world loves, as far as the AFL world and somewhat of the NFC world, because we have a lot of interest from there as far as being the Cold Lake Boys. The world seems to love saying what we do, how we do, and this, that, and the other. Well, trust in due time, you will be able to have a very intimate inside look on how the Jets move, how the Jets are, who the Jets are, and what we do. Boys by the Lake coming to you on a very near platform very soon. Please keep an eye out for that. Yes. Shameless plug. Go ahead and be on the lookout for that. Yes, we will be doing. We have been working on it. We have been trying to figure out how to do it the best way, and I think we figured it out as far as the guys all in this. We'll be doing something as far as like a kind of somewhat like a Hard Knock series, if you will, but a little bit more in depth because it's just raw footage. Nothing is staged in any aspect. Everything is just us. And I think not just for us as a whole, but I think for this league in particular, I think for them to also, as far as them being the world, to kind of see how we are, how players in the AFL, we're regular guys just like you. And you could be anybody listening right now to that point. Regular guys just like you, just having fun playing the game. And what I think that could bring as far as exposure, not just to my guys, but the league as a whole individually, I think is perfect. And I hope other teams, just like your guys' two teams, hope you guys hop on something like this too. I think the league needs to provide more of open access to who we are if we want to help grow, if you will. It doesn't need to be too exclusive, maybe not to the extent we've chosen to do it. But I think as a whole, I think we need to provide more open access, whether the board members up there want to try to find some guys to report games a lot more to make it feel like, oh shit, we actually got some attention here. Like people take stats that aren't us. Like, you know what I mean? Even some small shit like that. And I'm not hating. I'm just saying, like, these are just ideas. Like, and I just want what's best for the league after me, not just for me.
Gabe for president.
Hey! I don't know if everybody wants that. I rule with the iron fist in this motherfucker. But yeah, so I think I definitely think you guys will love seeing us, especially me and Provo. We're obviously two guys that are stars of the show.
How are you doing it? Like, did you hire a film crew? Like that how are you doing it?
So for instance, I don't want to give out everything. And some things we are still kind of working on the fly, but for like a lot of the time, just like the first year when me and Provo, met each other, there was like a group of us. I think, what was it, like maybe like seven or eight of us, and we were always together. And I mean always together. Some of us worked together, and whether the few of us that didn't work together, as soon as we all got off, it was like this. You could find us at practice. None of us were all on the same side of the field like that as far as all together. Like some of us played on offense, some of us played on defense, some of us just played special teams. But we were a group, and I can't give away everything in that aspect. I lost Provo, but what the fun we had and who we were, and if everybody could have seen it, I think it really would have opened some of the doors as far as how you guys have allowed us to with this podcast are now. I think it would have been better as far as exposure and maybe a little bit more opening to how you guys are doing things now, and people wouldn't be so scared to come on and have to have votes not to come on. You know what I mean? No, I didn't say that. But yeah. Just all jokes aside, but I think shit like that is actually good. So for us, me and Provo will be always being together. We'll always have a camera with us directly. Whether we have someone filming or it's one of us holding the camera or one of the guys with us, us two specifically are always together. So we will always have our camera with us with our mics on. Now, the other cameras that are with the other boys, we are looking for some people to try to ease, the struggle and really kind of get some raw footage of us as a whole and kind of follow us around. There's a couple people we have in mind that are very close knit to the team that don't play necessarily, but are always helping out, that we think would love the opportunity to try to ingratiate themselves further, if you will. But yeah, so mainly, like I said, with me and him, that's kind of how we're doing it. Like, so for instance, when I make my drive up, and no, it will not be in the GTR. When I make my drive up, I'll actually, as me and Provo were talking earlier, I'll actually be documenting that entire drive. It's a 28 and a half hour drive. That entire, obviously I'm not going to do the whole drive in one full stint, but the drive to the stops, the hotel, all that's type of footage you're going to see, just to kind of wrap that small thing up. But I think it'll be good. And then, I'm just excited, guys. I'm excited. We're finally all back. I know it's going to be probably kind of tough to maybe get some of the other teams on here with the weeks coming so close and everybody's focus starting to shift in, because I know ours is really starting to shift in heavily as we all start to kind of pile into Cold Lake. But I'm extremely excited. I hope you guys are. I can't wait to see you guys in the coming weeks, if you will. I look forward to seeing, because I know he's listening, I look forward to seeing you in a couple weeks, Kurt. I'm excited to see you. I'm excited to chop it up with you, Dave. You too, bro. I love you, my guy. Congratulations on the baby girl again. And yeah, I'm excited for that up. I think just like you were kind of mentioning, Teague, as I've said to the guys in our text chat as well as the team chat, that game decides a lot. I know it's the first game of the year and people think, oh, it's just the first game. No, that game actually decides a lot. And whoever wins that game, I think really kind of punches their ticket. I'll be dead honest with you. But I will say, despite whoever wins that game first, that loser of that game, I promise you, they will see them again, whether in the championship or in the same playoff bracket. I guarantee you those teams will fight each other again. So I look forward to it. Whoever comes out on top, I'm excited. The Gators are very well put together, very well coached from what I was told, when I spoke with Kurt, to what I see just from everything, that they post and all that. I'm very happy that you actually did decently well against them, Tish. Not just for my team's interest, but more so for you, to really kind of bring things home to you guys as I planned. I'm very proud of you. It's not easy to go to quarterback in any aspect. I've had the luxury of playing that in my career. It's not easy. And I know having the happy feet, in addition to locking on the receiver, is a very cliche thing for any fresh quarterback coming in. Trust me, I guarantee by actual week 1, you will have something down packed where you have fluidity somewhere and you'll be doing just fine. By the time week 3, week 4 rolls around, yes, maybe by actual quarterback standards, you may not be a top guy, but niggas will respect you in this league. People will say, we got to be careful playing them Red Deer boys. That boy Teej know how to keep the game going. We got to be careful. And then to you, Amari, as I've told you too privately, I'm very proud of you. I know it's been very hard trying to keep the team together, trying to keep the team afloat, and you figure it the fuck out. You and your team of contemporaries. So I'm very proud of you. They have the right guys leading, and they're following the right guy within you every time they go to the weight room, every time they see you train. And even when you're not there, I know you leave your stamp just like I do. So I'm very proud of you two. I'm very proud of how you guys have handled things. I'm very proud of your guys' growth with this podcast. Congratulations on where you're at right now. But I look forward to seeing everybody, including you, Provo, in a couple weeks also here. I'm excited. This is going to be a great year. You still got to come beat the Jets. And when you come to Cold Lake, just hang out. Just hang out after, okay? I know everybody acts like I'm such a bad guy, but as you hear, I'm not. I'm just a very big competitor. And to really wrap it in, the reason why I talk a lot of shit and all that, of course, because I can back it the fuck up. But one of my favorite all-time athletes, Mr. Michael Jordan himself, used to piss everybody off before games for a reason. Because when you're pissed off, you're actually playing at your best. I said this last year. And I want you at your best. Because then, if and when I kick your ass, which I very much intend to, what's your excuse? So there is a mastermind game I play with you. You guys all fall into it very easily. I'm telling you, I know buttons to press. I know how to press everything. So you got to come to Cold Lake. I'm pressing the right ones right now because it's very subtle. But you got to come to Cold Lake. You got to come beat us. You got to come hang out because you will have to hang out with me after I beat your ass. I promise you that. Even if my team don't win a game, because you can't win everything in life. I say that just as respect. I'm going to win my battle. For sure. So whoever you are, you got to come have a beer with me. And going back to you fully now to close it. Tej, when you come up here, yes, we is going to have that race. You seen our team president decided to come and chime in as I want. That'll be a halftime show. Depending on how we do it, whether it's before the kids' performance or after, I definitely am looking forward to it. So you better have your legs ready, my boy.
Oh, we're filming that one for
Hey,
sure.
I love it. I love it.
That's going to be on everything.
I love it. That's so good. You know what? I'm 100% in, man. I think regardless, if you kick my ass, if I kick your ass, I think that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's perfect. Perfect for the league.
My problem is look, here's the thing. I know my speed. I know I'm very fast. The problem with you is I don't actually know how fast you are because you never have to run full speed in games. So I'm not 100% sure what I'm getting myself into. But hey, I'm confident in my abilities, and hey,
as you should be, and that's what I want.
If you kick my ass, then I'll buy the blunt after the game.
Hey,
hey, it's uncensored, baby.
I know, I'm just fucking with you. Yeah, you know I got you, baby. You know I got you. But although I'll put the lead together for you. The cold one is on you.
Fair enough. Yeah, you got it.
Don't let Josh hear you guys.
All right, we good there. We good.
Hear you. Talking about blunts and stuff.
Oh boy, don't let Josh. Man, oh man, I can't believe he even wanted to be my teammate. He knew I was smoking the devil's lettuce. Like, I couldn't believe he even let me
That's
around.
funny. Oh, speaking of people around the league, so I know we kind of did this last year. I kind of did it, and particularly kind of. I don't want to say I'm the only one. I don't know why people thought that. It was more just to bring back. I think players need to do this more as a whole, not just me in my position or my competitor's position. Can we please have more guys do jersey swaps, like throughout the league as a whole? It doesn't need to just be me, and it doesn't need to just be guys that feel like, oh, I did it too. I got to post about it. Like if you're still playing in the fucking league, do it. Like the point is to showcase, hey, look, although we're competitors, we are still friends and admirers of each other. Like, no homo, take that however you want, but I'm being serious. Like, there's guys in this league I'm fans of their game of. Like, I'm not gonna front. I'd sit here and lie if I told you that, but you guys would also sit here and lie and say you're not in the same boat. There's not somebody in this league you're like, you know what, I respect that guy's fucking game. Watching him play, even when I play him, is like, damn, bro, like you get down. Like, so that's kind of the purpose of that, guys. To showcase we're all still also homeboys at the end of the day, even if we don't know each other. It's in the fun of the game, in the love of the game. So can we please start having more shit like that? Like, and I know we all do the team prayers at the team group prayer at the end from both teams. Like, and I like that. I appreciate that. But I just feel like that one's a little more cliche because we all want, you know, I don't want to say want that specific blessing from God, but we all want each other to have that blessing from God, you know? So I feel like that one's a little more cliche, you know, to do. Whereas I feel like you take the time to actually take the shirt off your back and give it to somebody else and accept theirs. That's a bigger form of gesture and respect. So that's my request from the league. I'm gonna say it again, the league. Please start doing more jersey swaps and shit like that. Doesn't even need to be jersey swaps. Can we please just start treating each other like we fucking care in some aspect? Like, I'm tired of having to feel like I gotta whoop somebody's ass after a fucking game just because I whooped your ass on the field. Like, bro, it's a game. Like, what the fuck? We all have families to go home to, bro. Like, we're friends. Like, you're gonna write me on Facebook after, like, hey, bro, good game. So what the fuck you want to fight me for after the game?
Hey,
I'm just saying. And those of you who take offense to that, you know why I'm saying it.
and you
So come on,
now
bro.
you might be on Joshy's hit list,
I'm
buddy.
just
You said F the prayer. You're crazy. You're crazy.
no, I didn't say F the prayer. I didn't say F the prayer. I said the prayer is a very cliche that I've done the prayer. I've been the one to initiate the prayer. But what I'm saying is guys will like just think about it. Okay, we could take a quick second to go ahead and caveat about this. Like, let's just think about it. How often after the prayer do you sit there and talk to all the guys after?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, some people do just
Damn,
cut.
cricket.
Yeah, you're right.
It got silent real fucking fast in here. So that's my point. I'm tired of just saying, okay, yeah, God bless you. We all know each other, don't we? Because we're all also gonna go hang out at the bar at whoever city we're fucking in and drink with each other. Why don't we act like that on the field? Our families like to see that.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Gabe. You know what? I love and I think your main point is, and I like it, is like it looks good when people can, you know, battle in between the lines and in between the time, and then after the game, you know, you show that respect and do the jersey. I've always liked the jersey swaps, helmet swaps, whatever it might be. It does show respect. It looks good on the league as a whole. You know, we're all men not getting paid to sacrifice our bodies every single week for the ultimate goal of winning a championship. So I agree with you on that. We're gonna have to wrap this up because I'm fucking tired. I'm not gonna lie, and I got a golf tournament tomorrow. So Omari, close this up. Thank you so much, Gabe. It's just always a pleasure, man. And Rashawn, always a pleasure with you. So glad to have you back in the league, and I appreciate you giving me those tips. And of course, I welcome anything you can give me along the way. I know you're a kind dude like that, and you're looking to help people all the time. You're a coach at heart. So thank both of you so much, and I look forward to coming up and seeing you. Omari, close this out, please.
Hey, appreciate you, Gabe. Appreciate Rashawn coming on. Hey, looking forward to a great season. I think this is going to be one of the more jam-packed seasons, and, you know, I really feel this is now a league and a season where we've all done our parts to build it up, and we're all going to see the fruits of the labor. You know, wins, losses, lessons, moments, memories, all those things, and, you know, we just raise the standard. And I feel like every individual listening to this who's a part of the AFL, some part, hey, we've all raised the standard, and we're all going to benefit from it here now and put it forward for next season. Just to wrap things up here, hey, everyone tuning in, Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. This is going to be later uploaded to YouTube. So like, share, subscribe, comment, all those good things that you see and do. And, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of the bodies as you go into these spring camps or main camps, whatever it is. We're here to watch, we're here to learn. Anytime there's any film going around, hey, teach the film. Hey, we're all going to be quite beneficial for it. But end of the day, appreciate tuning in. We look forward to seeing you here next week. I believe we have either the Cowboys or my team, the Wolfpack, coming on here. We're about to figure that out scheduling wise, and then we'll get this rolling here. But things are heating up. Stay tuned. Week one's coming up quick because it's the 8th right now. It's literally like 20 some days away.
We're 3 weeks away. We're 3 weeks away from week 1. So it's a wonderful time of year, everybody. I'm looking forward to it. Omari, we get each other week 1. Cold Lake Gators week 1. So many great games. Colts Irish, Calgary Colts Irish this weekend, Sunday, if you want to check that out. Hey, thank you, boys. Great podcast. See you all soon. Take care of yourselves.
God bless. Love y'all.
You bet, buddy. See you, boys.